Well, welcome back. Today we're gonna do something simple, but we're gonna need to type in a good amount of code. What we want is when we go to this page, personal finance, and we go to the accounts list, if I click on a particular account, I want to get the details on that account. In order for us to achieve this, we're going to go into the account services.ts and insert this function here. So, what is this? Well, we will use this method function to retrieve the account by ID. It takes the account ID as a parameter, so account ID as a parameter here, which is of type number, and it returns a promise of type account. Now down below, you have seen the syntax in the previous tutorials where I have explained it to a good extent. They're called arrow functions, which we have used in combination with promises. If you skip that lecture, you should really go back. Anyway, we have a promise here, and the promise starts with this parentheses here, and it ends here. So this is the end of the promise, and this is the beginning of the promise. And then the promise within itself contains an arrow function or a lambda function, however you wish to call it, which begins here and ends here. This arrow function or lambda function contains two arguments. So to the left of the arrow are the arguments or the parameters of the function, and to the right of the lambda function is the body of the function. Here we're passing two parameters, which are resolve and reject. Resolve and reject are functions in and of themselves. So a function is receiving two functions as parameters. Down below, we're using a variable find account, and in it we shall store the results of our search of the accounts array. We will use the find method, the built-in find method, in order to attempt to find the account of the specified ID. So the ACC here, this is basically the current element that is being checked, and to the right, the checking process actually goes on. acc.id is the account ID that has been passed, is the account ID actually that is being compared to the not the ACC ID is not the one that has been passed. The account ID has been passed, and then these two are being compared to see if this one from the find method, which is going through the array one element at a time, actually matches the account ID. If it manages to find the account ID, the matching account ID, if this evaluates to true, then the account will be returned and stored into this variable. If it fails to find it, it will return undefined. Now, when it returns undefined, undefined is basically evaluated as false. But down below, we use the negation in order to make it true, and then we call the reject method, which we have passed here, which means that we're just gonna have some sort of an error, no account with this ID. Else, if it finds some sort of an account, that's gonna go into the else part of the statement, and this will be resolved. It will resolve the promise and pass the found account. And I've just somehow accidentally smashed my keyboard, which is amazing in and of itself. Okay, now we need to go into the account routes.ts, and here we will do this import. So we'll just import this line. We don't have details component yet, but we will make it in the follow-up tutorials. And down below, we also need another route, another child route, with the kind of a weird path here. So it's in the address bar, it's going to look like this. So account/15, account/1, or something like that when we click on the particular account. Now colon basically means that the route expects a parameter, and we have ID as our placeholder, and the parameter in our case is ID. And basically the second part, as before, just shows to which component does this route lead to. Anyway, bid you farewell, and we shall see each other in the follow-up.